And with us, two-time Emmy Award-winning host Ty Pennington, joining us from his home in Palm Coast, Florida. Ty, welcome to the show.
Hey, Tamara, thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to see you too. Listen, I think back to, when I would first watch you on the home makeover show, and when you would say, "Move that bus," and the joy that just would flood from the screen to us at home. Could you have ever imagined that that show would have been the hit that it was?
You know, it's crazy. Let's face it. I've really had an amazing career from trading spaces that became so popular that, it was crazy. We had like crowds just lining up the streets. But Extreme was definitely the biggest show that, I think in home improvement you'll ever see. We had thousands of people come out when the bus moved. Like people were doing somersaults, like screaming up the sky. And so to be able to visualize and to be able to experience what change looks like, in the expression, and that was the gratification as a designer, just seeing that reaction.
Yeah.
That's why you want to continue doing it for as long as I've been doing it.
Well, to your point, TLC's Trading Spaces was a phenomenon of its own, and you had a following with that show. And then you go over to change the way we watch even primetime TV, where you brought some joy back into family television, where we were rooting for that family because obviously we wanted to be them too, but we were putting ourselves in their shoes.
Yeah, it was really a wonderful time if you think about it, because our show really sort of lit the spark of wanting people to do more in their community. Even after we left the town, people would get together and want to do projects helping out a vet, getting a ramp to get into their house, et cetera. And so it was just such a positive show. It was really about people coming together and the amazing things that we can achieve when we all work together. So yeah, I think that show will always be such a high watermark for any type of home, makeover show.
Absolutely.
But it's something I've always loved doing. Go
The
ahead.
show
Sorry.
was a great show, but full disclosure, it was you and your infectious personality that elevated it to the next level. You were Mr. Positive. You were also, and are incredibly handsome. You were just all of these things that folks at home love to watch. People Magazine, everybody's chasing you around. And you're at the peak of your success when you have that DUI incident.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because I know firsthand, when you have fans rooting for you and you want to live up to their expectations in every way, and suddenly you've disappointed yourself, your family, and your fans with that mistake. How was that for you, particularly when you got pulled over? Did your life flash before you?
Well, I think that's the one time, in your life that you realize fame, you usually just see the attention that it brings you, but you forget there's a flip side to that because you are so well known, because your face is so recognized. And it makes you really realize when you make a mistake like that, that just simply like answering the phone to go pick up friends at a place down the street and, having a few drinks and then getting in a car to take them home, it's a bad choice. And like, even though it thinks like you might think that it's nothing, it's only a couple of blocks, like something could have happened in between that short distance that, could have changed things in a huge way. So it was just, I think a lot of times in life, you just have something happen to you. It's a wake up call to remember that people are watching you every single day. And sometimes when people look up to you, you really have to think about every decision you make. So yeah, that definitely had the worst part about it is when you like type in my name, all the amazing positive things I've been lucky enough to do in my life, that still pops up as, oh, he also did this.
Yeah, I know. And that's the tough thing, because to your point, it's not the total sum of your journey.
Right.
And what you did at the time, you owned it. You released a statement. You said, I'd made a mistake. These days, people spend a lot of money on PR and spin and try to pretend it was somebody else in the car. And it was, all kinds of shenanigans happen to try and protect someone's image. You did none of that. You owned it. But did you watch opportunities disappear? Did you start hearing folks not call you back after being on this high of the it guy in TV?
No, I think honestly, what it really was for me is like I worked every single day for almost 10 years straight. And it was the kind of job that you couldn't say no. Like changing people's lives, you don't get that opportunity every day. But that being said, I was never home. My plants died, my cat left, my relationship sort of fell apart. So I also knew that it was sort of time to, let's just say, kind of get my soul back, get my personality back, and spend time off of camera and sort of rebuild my life. And, you know, to be the human that I am, sometimes you have to do things off camera
Yeah,
that also make you feel good about yourself. So I
absolutely.
spent some time, working on me and also working on a house that I'd always wanted to design and build for my own family. So yeah, sometimes things happen in life that may seem negative, but can lead to a positive. And I think sort of just stepping away for a bit has also been the most positive thing that's ever happened to me. So
Oh, wow.
it's hard to say.
You worked on your own family's house. That's so interesting to me. You're the guy fixing everybody else's home, but you had been, not diving in to renovate your own.
Yeah, well, I spent, like, let's face it, 10 years building probably 230 houses across America for other deserving families. But at one point, my mom was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about maybe building one for us?" And I was like, "That's a great idea." But honestly, and like working with a team of volunteers and incredible people to pull off a house, building one in 7 days, it really is. It's almost impossible to do. How we did it is still mind blowing. So I wanted to see what it's like to actually build it myself, and it took a lot longer than a week. I'll tell you that. But it was one of those dreams that you always had, and I also wanted to prove to myself that, like, doing one thing on one TV, on TV with the help of thousands is one thing, but doing it on your own is another. So yeah, we pulled off something amazing. It turned out incredible. And of course, the minute I finished, my mom said, "Hey, I think I'm going to retire." I'm like, "Great. Does that mean you're moving in?" So I live with my mom now, which
You
is
live
really
with your
great.
mom now?
Yes, it's wonderful. It's
I mean, did
yeah.
you
I've
build like
never.
a mother's wing, or are you all in the same structure?
Okay, so I built a separate area for her, but then I had to sort of, before she came down, I had other people move in, and they smoke cigarettes. My mom just can't be around that, and they have cats. So my mom actually lives one room, like literally stays one room over. She's like at the next wall, which is amazing because I would have never thought in a million years that I would ever sort of be under the same roof with my mom. In fact, when I was told to leave as a younger age, I was like, wow. But the good news is it's under my rules now, but I don't have any rules, which makes it really easy for her.
I am so stunned that you're telling me all this because you have been incredibly private over these years, including in your personal life, really keeping that away from fans and prying eyes. Because I know that you had been in a long-term relationship. Are you in, or is it just mom and you in the house?
No, luckily I am. Otherwise, I would be, probably. Well, the good news is, what's great is to be in a relationship and also have your mom involved. And so
Oh,
we're all so happy
I
together.
love that. That is so
Um,
sweet.
it's just wonderful.
And
Right.
I do want to talk about this show because I'm curious how that break and how the person you are now, how did it impact this show, Tiebreaker, that you're starting now?
Well, let's face it. I've always loved being able to give people sort of the dream home that they never really thought they could achieve. And sometimes it's the house they currently live in. You just have to redesign things to work in the way that really works for them. Other times, sometimes you have to just pick up and move and find the right place. But it's one of those things I just love doing when you can help somebody really change their living environment.
Yeah.
It really does change their life.